Welcome to the On Your Side podcast. I'm Gary Harper.
And I'm Susan Campbell.
Hey, I got a little story for you.
Tell me.
My wife got pulled over yesterday.
Oh, no.
You had no idea where this is going.
I did not. What did she get pulled over for?
She's at a four-way stop sign. She's going west, and there's an officer at the stop sign across going east. Okay?
Okay.
So full, complete stop.
Uh-huh.
In the meantime, people are walking across the street.
Okay.
And my wife waits for him to kind of like get halfway across, and then she turns left. Well, there goes the red and blue lights.
Oh, no.
And he pulls her over, and he says, I'm pulling you over because you have a Texas Tech license frame around your license plate.
Are you serious?
Yes.
Nuh-uh.
And I'm like, she's telling me the story. I'm like, he can't pull you over for that. But anyway, she did not let the pedestrians get all the way across the street.
Oh.
Did you know that?
I didn't know that was a rule. I thought once that it was clear and safe to go at a stop.
It was a learning lesson.
Ugh.
And then
Did she get a warning or a ticket?
Did. She got a warning,
Okay.
which was, I mean, that deserves a warning because I don't think many people know about that.
No.
And then she had the nerve to tell me that as I'm talking to her, she goes, and he was pretty cute, by the way. So, you know what I had to do?
Really worked out in her favor.
So I drummed up AI, and I put myself in a police uniform.
Oh, my goodness.
And
Gary.
I'm pulling over a real hot chick, and I'm like, okay, so is this guy? It's got my face. I'm in a police.
We have gone off the rails here.
This AI thing with you and me, I mean,
know.
it's gone crazy.
So funny.
I mean, we got so much feedback, like me wrestling the bear, which which I wasn't. You were this pop star sensation.
I know.
Really
We've
cool.
had a lot of fun on the podcast. But you are bringing our podcast fun to an end, Gary. We have a little news for our listeners.
This is, I guess, what we say in the business is breaking news, but this is really not breaking. This has been in the making for quite a while. But yeah, I am officially retiring from On Your Side and Arizona Family. I've been here for 28 years.
Oh my gosh.
I have been in the business for nearly 40 years, and it's just time. You know, mentally, I'm kind of checked out right now. There was a pause there. You're silent.
You know how I feel. I'm going to miss you so much. I've had so much fun working with you, learning from you, doing this really cool, interesting podcast with you. I had never done a podcast before, and you hadn't either. And we got to kind of experiment with this cool platform and talk to viewers in a totally different way.
I loved every minute. Yeah.
And it's just been so fun. And I'm going to miss you so much. But I know you are so excited for the next chapter.
So excited. So, I mean, it's been in the making for a while. And, I mean, this is why we're doing the podcast, because people, they think retirement is out of reach. They're afraid of it. Maybe I haven't saved up enough money. Am I going to be mentally ready for it? Because I've even had people in the newsroom say, what are you going to do with yourself? And I'm like, believe me, I'm going to have plenty of things to do.
Yeah.
By the way, I have to buy a lawnmower now. Okay. I haven't pushed a lawnmower in decades.
Yeah, because not only are you retiring, you're moving.
I'm moving. Yeah.
You're leaving Arizona.
Yeah, moving out of state, moving to a beach state. Can't wait to get there.
Yeah.
But again, I'm going to have plenty of things to do, like cut the grass.
But I'm sure there were a lot of days and nights of questions and conversations with your wife of the "Are we ready?" That's a very common conversation that happens in households all over the place. When is it time?
Mm-hmm.
And it's not just you going through this. This is a thing that a lot of people are going through. We want to dig into it because I think there are so many people who are going, I dream of retirement.
Right.
How do I get there?
How do I get there? For the answer, we're talking to Angelica Prescod. She is a financial advisor with Edward Jones out in Scottsdale, right in our backyard. Angelica, how are you?
I am fantastic and super excited for you.
I am super thrilled. Thank you very much. I've been doing this a long time, and it's just I'm mentally, emotionally, and everything ready, financially ready. And it was just time to, pull the trigger. But a lot of people out there, they want to, and maybe they can, Angelica, but when do you know when you're ready?
Well, first and foremost, you need to know, what does retirement look like for you to know even when you're ready for it. And age can play a game as much as money, right? So maybe if you're over the age of 59 and a half, Are you allowed to tell us how old you are?
I am 58.
See, you're right at that cusp of that beautiful 59 and a half where you could withdraw anything from any of your retirement accounts penalty free.
Mm-hmm.
So we would have a plan that would jump you through 58 to 59, practically 60, with your supply of money that you've saved for yourself and passive income. And then after that, we'll have the retirement accounts hover more of the weight. But yeah, you're really close, sir. You go ahead and enjoy the beach.
Well, I appreciate that, and I will. When do most people retire? Do they think that 62 is kind of like the golden mark?
Well, 62 to 65 is a sweet spot that people right now are retiring in. And sometimes people continue doing some type of volunteer work even after those age. So the word retirement is more so, am I showing up to 9 to 5 or not? More so than retiring. Because a lot of people find another hobby and they're busy there from 8 to 5 just the same.
Is there a magic number when we can look in the bank account, the retirement accounts, and say, okay, we've made it, we're ready?
That's funny. Absolutely not. Because everyone has different financial needs. So the question is, how much do you need to show up in your bank account every month for you to be okay? For some people, everything's paid off and it's only utilities and medical care. For others, they still got that new mortgage because the wife wanted 6 bedrooms for the grandchildren. So the number will really fluctuate, but some people are looking at $500,000, others are looking at over $1 million, others need, because life is more expensive for them, even more than that.
There's something called the 4% rule, and I love the 4% rule. People don't know what that is. Explain what it is and how it works.
I love the 4% rule. It's also called 25X. So the 4% rule means that you can withdraw 4% of your portfolio for the rest of your entirety, relevant to market fluctuation, and still generally be okay, right? So if you have $1 million, you can get $40,000 of passive income from that $1 million. And no matter what the market does, theoretically, the percentage is so low that you're withdrawing that you can sustain market volatility. Now, 25X, which is the opposite side of the 4%, is find out how much you need, multiply that by 25, right? And when you multiply it by 25, you'll see what the lump sum should be to be able to sequence that income to you.
Okay.
You're making us do some math, but it's important math when people are getting ready for retirement.
I love that 25X, but clarify it. You do what now? How much money you need and then multiply it times 25?
All right, so let's say someone came out and told me, Angelica, I need $100,000. I wish you guys could see my screen because I'm literally writing it on the calculator. I need $100,000 to be comfortable and for my wife to like me every Saturday, right? Multiply that 100,000 by 25. You need about 2.5 million available.
I guess you could also do that by the month. I need this much a month to live. Can you do it that way?
You can back it into giving from the month to giving you your annual and then therefore multiplying that result to 25. Look at you creating a sequential calculation.
He's doing the math right now. He's like, yeah, we're good to go. We're good to go. It's gonna be great.
My wife always tells me I can hear the wheels in your head squeaking away.
It's going, but it will give you the same answer at 4%. So 2.5 times 4%. Right, would still give you that same 100,000.
Mm-hmm.
So
okay.
We're going forward or backwards on the same answer.
I feel like we're doing algebra, and I failed that in college.
Oh gosh. So for people like Gary who are retiring, before Medicare kicks in, healthcare costs have to be a really big part of the conversation. What do we need to know about factoring healthcare costs into our retirement plan for younger retirees?
Well, first and foremost, how sick have you naturally been? Right? So some people have never seen the doctor for 20 years and they're still jogging and feeling great. So the healthcare costs and how much they'll need to do might be lower, but we're still having to get insured. And that insurance cost can be sometimes $1,000 to $3,000 a month, something that your mind may have never calculated for. So that's really the kicker that sometimes derails people's retirement comfort. That buffer money for fun ends up being a little bit lighter because of those healthcare costs.
Well, and we're talking also about the Affordable Care Act. A lot of people were relying on that, and now that thing is kind of like in limbo because the government shut down because of that very, very issue. You got one side who doesn't want the government subsidies, and you have the other side saying, yes, we do want the government subsidies, and here we are stuck.
Well, and you have to imagine there are people who are right now trying to retire and looking at the lack of subsidies and going, I guess I have to delay this for a little bit until there's a little more clarity in what this cost is going to be for healthcare.
Yeah, exactly. Tell us, is there a formula to kind of dictate exactly how much money you should have by age? For instance, if you're 50 years old, you should have, I think there's a formula. Remind me what it is. It's like 5 times your salary or something like that.
It really depends. And yes, there are formulas. The issue that I have about sitting on that mathematical assessment is everyone's wife is different, Gary. So depends on whether your wife is buying Gucci purses every weekend. That formula may fall apart in 25 seconds of her shopping 2 more weekends.
By the way, so, I wouldn't have married her if she was that way, but go ahead.
You married a saver, too.
I did.
You're a saver, you married a saver.
Yes. And usually savers marry takers and spenders. You're an anomaly right now in my industry.
Wow.
So we're usually planning the saver saying A and the spender is saying, and we spent it yesterday. And they're finding out usually right in front of me. So trust me, the drama that happens in our offices is quite sensational. That said, if you're looking at the ratio of money, if your dollar amount can equate to at least 5 to 10x your income in total balance, right? You're in a better place financially. And that's sometimes hard because people rotate from jobs to jobs, lose jobs, have to tap into their 401k to kind of buffer that 12-month that they didn't save for. So it's hard to get, but we also can't forget people have inheritances as well. Assets that are coming in that are outside of the plan. So one of the deep things that I do in my meetings is ask, is there anyone that likes you a lot, right? Anybody older than you that likes you a lot, where we might not be assessing an influx of new dollars. And the other thing I've done is make sure that your children are also financially in a position that just in case Gary retired 2 years too early, the kids can come in and say, Dad, I got you, because we've been planning and investing since we were 16 years old. So it all depends on what you have to buffer for. But the calculations is 5 to 10x, depending on how expensive your life is going to be at that time.
Boy, I would hate to go back to my kids
and
say,
oopsie daisies.
Oops.
So, I mean, you mentioned inheritance. Is that something that you do actually factor into the calculation, or is that something that is just a cherry on top of the retirement plan and the extra fund for maybe a vacation that you didn't budget for or something like that?
Well, it depends on what type of inheritances you're having. Sometimes parents have homes, right? And when they pass away, these homes have to be sold, and or the family moves into it in some way, shape, or form. That could be comfortably $500,000 to $700,000 going to the next generation. So in my practice, we deal across and up and down, meaning I know what your parents are doing and or have a whim of it. So we're not guessing here. We're even involved in seeing how the trust was written out. So way before anybody starts looking at hospitals as their normal space of living in, we already know what we're planning on down the line. So yes, inheritances can be a big deal, not just for vacation to, where Gary's going, but also for a potential way to buffer whatever you were not able to do because you were caring for either parents or your children.
Let me just add to that, and I would respectfully disagree to a little bit with the inheritance, because there's no guarantees in life.
Absolutely.
And when it comes to Social Security, I did not even work. I never even worked that Social Security into the formula. If it's there, beautiful.
Great.
If it's not, I don't have to rely on it. And I think the same thing is true with inheritance.
But Gary, you also have to remember there's some people that did do the math the way you did, and they're already falling short, but their bodies are not able to continue working. So we have to grasp at whatever other potentials we may have to get them down that line, whether it's an inheritance or not, or even Social Security or not. We can't guarantee even that the market's going to perform the way we want it to while we're retired. So there's a lot of formulas here that we have to contribute to. We don't necessarily know the final number, if it's even going to be there, but more importantly, the planning is where we start.
There's a recent report that came out, which was kind of disturbing. It says that about 50% of workers have less than $100,000 socked away.
Yes.
What? I mean, surprising to you?
Not so much. Most people kind of feel that whatever's happening in their 401k is kind of magical. They look at it, they put some money in it, they hope it's working out, and they keep on doing what they're asked to do, which is the work, and they don't pay attention to this. I think there's some stats out here that say that people plan more for their vacation than they do for their own retirement. So with that said, no, sadly, I wish I could clone myself 10,000 times. There's so much work to do.
I was going to say $100,000 in a retirement account is not going to be enough to sustain, a long-term retirement by any stretch of the imagination. No. You have to think about life maybe in a skilled care facility, or what happens when you live to 102 and you need extra help in your home if you're really healthy. Like, there's just so much that goes into it.
You brought something up which is so important. Skilled nursing, for instance, assisted living. You have to work that into your retirement plan as well, correct?
Yes, absolutely. Not only do you have to plan for it, how exactly do you plan on paying for those cares? Is it going to be something that we have a separate account for that? Did you get insurance that could cover a portion of that? What is a scenario that you have? Annuities, money guides. There's so many products out there that can address those things. But key thing is plan, because honestly, right now in Arizona, skilled care centers are charging comfortably $10,000 a month for skilled care, $10,000 a month. You can find lower or higher, but that's a pretty hefty bill.
And you have to budget for that into the account. I mean, 10,000 now. By the time 10 years from now, it may be up to
Yeah, I know.
I know. I'm going to come back. Will you take me back, Susan?
You're allowed to keep working here as long as you want, Carrie. We've talked a lot about people who are near retirement age or already in retirement and just kind of making sure the finances are working through retirement. What about the 25-year-old who is just starting? What do we need to know right now?
You are living the cheapest life you'll ever have in your entire life. That's what I tell my young folks. Make sure that they start strong, because that gives those dollars a chance to compound across way more years. So get more focused on growth. Don't be too conservative. You have time on your side. So going aggressive, finding little ways to make this fun, and set some goals. Let's see how quickly you can get to 100,000, because based on that 4%, that's only $4,000 of income per year. And I am sure most folks need a little bit more than that to feel comfortable.
Yeah, we talked to a financial guy recently, you and I, on the podcast, and he was so funny because he said his favorite word in the dictionary is compound. Yeah. Compounding interest. And it's so true, because as little as you put away every paycheck, it seems like, God, I'm never going to reach that point. But my goodness, it grows so fast, and you just got to start. You have to do it.
I'm not going to ask you for any dollar amounts, obviously. That's too personal. But was there a moment in time when you looked at your retirement account and said, okay, and you exhaled a little bit and you're like, this feels like what I have worked for?
Yeah. I did. And I remember that moment going, wow, I got here really quick. Yeah. And I can really get to that point where I want to be even quicker. Yeah. And that's the whole point of saving. It happens more quickly than you think. Angelica, let me ask you a question. When do people have enough money when they need to have somebody like you or some kind of another financial advisor? Some people think, I don't need a financial advisor. I'm making $60,000 a year and I only have $100,000 in the bank. Whatever. I'm just making this up as I go. But when do they need somebody like you? Is there a minimum amount?
Well, with me, no. But for some advisors, there is. Sometimes it's $250,000 of investable assets. Others need you to be seven figures. I've been recognized on Forbes multiple times, and I have yet to take the humanitarian side of me out of the system. I believe in working with people who are willing to listen. So from the moment that first baby breathes, I'm already getting money invested for that child, all the way to the person's 116, and they're looking at me saying, I got fresh hips today. So whatever the case may be, you need an advisor as soon as you're looking at getting a job, looking at having any kind of expendable income. And yes, I believe even young teenagers should have custodial accounts with financial advisors helping them understand money. So that can impact what careers they choose, who they date, how they marry, and what their future looks like. So the earlier, the better. And financial advisors like me who have the philanthropy and the profitability, we are willing to do that too.
I really believe in the parental financial skills, because if you pass down, if they're looking at mom and dad struggling with credit card debt because they just overextended themselves. And I can't, little Johnny, buy you a Christmas present because we overspent on the Hawaiian vacation. That's really passing down some bad habits.
It's confusing. Well, so what do you do? Do you get scared off if somebody comes to you and says, I do have a mountain of credit card debt, or I don't know how to get out of this silly car loan that I got in and now I'm upside down in the car? Like, if people are coming to you and they're not in a great financial situation, where do you start?
Well, there are a couple of things. I'm not the only resource. We could have some budget gurus that can sit back and work those things out. Some credit score improvers that can sit down. That's literally their niche. And after those things are worked out, what they have expendable now to invest is where I show up, and I'm able to work with their excess. But we first have to address the mindset on money. A lot of people see money, even wealth, as a negative thing. So sometimes we're working even against ourselves to retire because we're like, oh, if rich people are bad or good, or et cetera, et cetera. No, let's just give your dollar a job, make it show up at the stock market and make some money while you sleep. But those key things are needed depending on where you're at. And no, absolutely nobody scares me off. You know, I'm Angelica. I'm welcoming, and we can have this conversation no matter what stage of life they're in, because guess what? They're human just like me.
I think the best advice I have for people is to live below your means. Everybody, it seems, trying to keep up with the Joneses, as they used to say, right? I got to have that bigger house. I got to have that better car. And you can certainly have that, but all that money that you're putting into those so-called assets, and I don't really refer to a vehicle as an asset because it depreciates, but you really have to live below your means. That comes to a house and everything that goes along with it. Yeah.
I mean, it's challenging to do right now, right? When you're staring at childcare costs and everything, it's challenging, but it's worth it.
Yeah. Angelica, you're the big financial guru. How many years before you retire?
I'm already ready for retirement income.
Really?
But not in professional life.
Yeah, I'm almost 20 years in. Y'all don't let this Maybelline fool you. I know the people can't see this, but I know I look young. You don't see the gray, but I probably shaved a little beard from the back of my ear. Right? So the key thing is, it's really the numbers. And thank you for asking, but no, I've been able to retire at the age of 37.
Wow.
At that point, the numbers made sense. But remember, I wasn't giving advice to others and not doing it for myself. And I am a saver. So we're saving and growing those assets. And as you said, it compounds. And I've been doing this since I was 23 years old.
Wow.
So it's there.
My financial advisor says he plans on retiring at the age of 50.
Yeah.
That's really
feels good.
That's young. And I'm like,
is he 49?
You know, I didn't know. I would say conservatively, he's probably his early 40s.
Okay.
He's going to listen to this podcast and be like, Gary, I'm 32.
Yeah, right.
You're going to offend him.
Who knows?
But yeah, advisors enjoy the journey of seeing people, building things for people, but also sometimes even advisors make mistakes and focus on others and not themselves. I was just one of those that started early and started hard, just like I'm recommending for the young people to do that.
You had mentioned something about how you're glad to see your clients, prosper and make money. And that's funny because I do see that in my financial advisor. He's thrilled for me and very happy. And I don't want to say he gets giddy, but when I go in there for appointments and stuff, he's like, hey, are you ready? You know, I mean, the countdown is on. You're ready. And
so fun.
Yeah.
No worries. I had once gone with the big certificate of when people like win something, with balloons to people's homes, getting them ready for retirement. Like, we got to our number.
Oh, wow.
So giddy is true. We could take it all the way to a big old party in front of the yard with congratulations and the whole 9 yards. Yeah, this is a celebratory thing. It's a team effort.
I hope they know it's you and not the, hey, you won the Publishers Clearinghouse. Don't open the door. Don't open the door.
Angelica, we could talk to you all day. Really quickly, before we let you go, though, you have some advice that I just love for people who are getting ready for retirement. Imagine what it's going to look like that first week, that first month. Yes. Why is that so important? And that's not about money. That's just about imagining the future.
Yes. First of all, sit down, and even if you have to close your eyes to get all the noise around you out of your head, when you're waking up and the money is already there, what are you doing? Right? Are you getting up when you put your feet on the ground? Is it the same house you're in? Are you in a tiny home somewhere in Oregon by the beach? Are you in that other country? Are you getting off the plane because you're going to go see a place you've always wanted to go to? So visualizing and understanding what happiness looks like for you allows for people like myself to know what we're painting, what are we building, right? And then do we have access to the children? Are we close to the family? Are we still where we are? Are we close to our friends? Are there activities we're doing with our friends? Is it beach volleyball for Gary? I don't know, right? So the conversations of what we're doing that day, what that month looks like, what a happy year of retirement looks like. And then think about it based on family behavior and your own health. How many years of retirement are we looking at? This could be 20, 30, 40 years, depending on all the medical advances we have coming up. So are we prepared to see how that evolves? Who will be involved in your journey? So it has not only to do with time, your visualization, what you want, but also who you want to bring along with you and who do you want to have access to during that time?
Well, I'm still thinking about me playing beach volleyball.
There you go.
I think of the Tom Cruise scene in Top Gun where they're out there without a shirt on. Susan, that just drudges up some bad thoughts there. I'm out there on a beach shirtless.
Goodness gracious. If that's what you want, Gary, I am happy for you.
Let me just tell you, my first week, my first month for that, I'm going to be moving. My first week is the drudgery, boxes, hanging pictures. I mean,
so your visualization needs to be month 2.
Yeah, exactly. Instead of my first week,
month 6. Yeah. We don't know.
You're exactly right. Hey, Angelica, thanks so much for being on the On Your Side podcast. If people want to find out more about you or Edward Jones, where do they go?
Well, online, Angelica Prescod at edwardjones.com is where you could find me. But also, we're right here in Old Town Scottsdale. So if you're going to Fashion Square Mall, I'm somewhere around helping people save some money. 4250 North Drinkwater.
And your last name, everybody here is Prescod. Prescod. It's Prescod. Prescod.
Yeah, it's like Cape Cod, Prescod. If I had the double T, I probably would be owning a whole city. Yeah. So right now, I'm here managing portfolios instead.
I love it. And Angelica, thanks so much.
Thank you, and congratulations, Gary.
Thanks. All right, my favorite topic, money, money, money. So what did you think about the conversation? I mean, I think she had a lot of good advice.
Lots of good sound advice that feels very approachable, right? Like it's something we all dream of. It's something that is possible. We just have to do that planning to get there, the planning that you did. It's hard work when you're in the middle of it and you're watching the money maybe not even hit the bank account and go right to the 401k.
Oh, yes.
But it's all worth it when you can get to that point and retire when you're 58. That's a huge deal.
Yes, and some people are doing it a lot earlier than me, but you know what? God bless them. But I'm ready for it, and I think bringing my lunch to work every day for almost 40 years, I think that has kind of helped me get to this point.
One little key to your success. I love it.
The On Your Side podcast is produced by Brad Denny. Our audio engineer and editor is Todd Martin. Segment producer is Colin Stanton, and I'm Gary Harper.
And I'm Susan Campbell. If you have a problem you can't resolve, maybe we can. Send us a message through azfamily.com or our AZ Family mobile app. Look for the On Your Side section and leave us a message. Thanks so much for listening to the On Your Side podcast. And if you like it, leave us a review. We'll see you next week.
On Your Side is on Good Morning Arizona every weekday morning at 6:45 and 7 o'clock. And every weekday evening on Good Evening Arizona at 4 and 5 o'clock. You can also catch it on Arizona's Family News at 9 on 3TV every weeknight.